Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here. In today's video, I'm diving into Sonnet's April Makers Box, and I've got something super fun planned. I'm using 3 DIY kits from CnC DIY Factory, plus one good old-fashioned Trash to Treasure project. I'm Cindy, my husband is Chris. Welcome to CnC DIY Factory. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. In Project 1, I'm going to be taking this glass bottle that I saved from the recycling bin. And I'll be applying 3 coats of the Tarnished Pearl DIY paint that was in the Maker's Box. The DIY paint is clay-based and it sticks to just about anything. It really sticks nicely to this glass bottle, but you have to make sure that you dry it thoroughly between coats. For this bottle, I'm going to be using the technique that I learned from Connie at the Painted Photographer. She showed us on one of her Whiskey Wednesday lives how to take a glass bottle and make it look like old crockery. I will also be using one of Connie's rice papers and applying this decoupage to the front of the bottle. I'm using the water method to tear around the edge of the smaller image in order to give it the frayed, organic look. My favorite decoupage medium is the DIY Crystal Clear Liquid Patina. As I'm applying the liquid patina, I'm trying to stay just inside the edge of the rice paper. I don't want to go outside of the edge of it because I want to be able to distress that back later. And with the patina on there, it's going to seal in the DIY paint. To give this bottle an old, dirty look like it's been sitting in an old barn on the ground somewhere, I've taken this mixture of weathered wood, summer crush, and fire starter and created a orangey brown color, and I'm going to stipple this on with a stencil brush to give it the look of dirt. I'll apply this paint to the bottom of the bottle and to the top, and then I'm also going to go around the rim or the edge where it curves around to the cylinder of the bottle. Once I have my first coat of this orangey brown paint mixture on there, I'm going to incorporate some water. I'm going to use my water mister and spray some wet paint to make it drip down the sides and make it look like it has been rained on and splattered on and just grungy. Once I'm satisfied with the look that I've created and everything is completely dry, I'm going to seal this in. This is DIY paint and it does need to be sealed, otherwise you can reactivate it with water, as I have just done. So I'm going to use the DIY clear wax, and I'm going to put a coat of clear wax over the entire bottle. Then I'm going to come back over the top of it with the Howard's Chalk-Tique wax in dark to give it more depth. And while the wax is still wet, I'm going to come back in with the decrepit dust, and I'm going to add some dust to the wax to really deepen the dirtiness of this bottle, and it is going to look like old crockery. And here's our finished project. Doesn't that look like an old piece of crockery? I just love it, and the pussy willow is beautiful on this piece. For project 2, we're going to take the first of 3 of the DIY kits from CnC DIY Factory to use in this video. This is our tissue box cover, and it can be found on our website at cncdiyfactory.com. We will also be using the DIY paint Cowgirl Coral that was in the Makers Box. Now take my advice on this. If you have one of these boxes, or if you order one, paint it and decoupage it before you put it together. The way that we have created these boxes is so that you do not have to glue it, and they are very tightly fitted. So I got a little ahead of myself and I put it together and then realized I didn't want to try to take it apart again to paint it. So I am going to work around all of these little notches and paint and decoupage and trim around them individually. So I'm applying 1 coat of the DIY White Swan because I'm going to take that beautiful napkin that was also in the Maker's Box as our thank you gift from Sonnet, and I'm going to decoupage that napkin onto this box. But I want the white background so that the napkin will pop. Some napkins are either a 2-ply or a 3-ply. This one is a 2-ply. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid patina on my fingers to pull the plies apart so I can pull that back ply off and save it for something else. Then I'll cut the napkin into 4 squares, and I'm going to decoupage them onto this tissue box. I'm showing you here that you can use a brayer to smooth down your tissue paper or your napkin. However, I prefer to use a wadded up piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap. I think it gives me more control. I don't have to worry about it becoming sticky and tacky and tearing up my napkin. Once everything is dry, I'm going to take my finger sander and I'm going to sand off the edges and discard the excess napkin. Now, it's very tedious to go around these inserted pieces, as you'll see here, but just take my time and go slow and it will all turn out just fine. And once I have removed all of the excess tissue paper or napkin, I will go over it one more time with a brush-on sealer to seal in the DIY Cowgirl Coral paint and the tissue paper. And our DIY tissue box cover kit is complete. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. For project 3, we're going to be using our second CnC DIY Factory DIY kit. This is our 11 by 7 maker's frame. I will be applying 1 coat of the Fusion Mineral Paint in Ash. This was also in our maker's box this month. I will paint the entire frame, front and back, and the back side of the backer board in this ash color. I will also paint the front side of the backer board with a white chalk paint. I want to create a richer look to this frame, so I'm going to take some, after everything is dried, I'm going to take some steel wool and I'm going to sand down the entire frame and the back of the backer board where I just applied the color ash. The Fusion Mineral Paint has a built-in sealer, so I want to open up this paint so that it will absorb in the waxes that I'm about to apply to it. But first, I need to brush it all off, so I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to brush off all of the steel wool shavings and the dust created from sanding. I created a mixture of the Waverly Antique Wax mixed with a little bit of the Waverly ink or black chalk paint. This mixture is going to allow me to add some depth and sealant to this frame, and it's going to richen up that ash color beautifully. You simply brush it on, and then with a shop towel or a paper towel, lint-free preferably, you just wipe it right back off. Look at the difference that makes. Can you see how the frame looks next to the backer board? It's just gorgeous. Now that the frame is completely finished, we're going to decoupage this Time to Wake Up Tulips rice paper by Connie, the painted photographer, to the top or the front of this backer board. I had previously painted the backer board white, and we're going to use the DIY liquid patina to decoupage this down. Our 11x7 maker's frame is the perfect size frame for Connie's rice papers in this size. I had to do very little trimming. It was mainly just the white around the edges, and it fits perfect. Now that the decoupage paper is completely dry, it's time to put our frame together. I'm going to use this frame tacker that I got on Amazon, and I'll have the link down below in my description box. Simply take this and slide it along the backer board up against the frame and squeeze the handle, and it'll shoot a point into the 1-inch thick frame holding down the backer board. There is also the option of simply gluing the backer board into the channel on the back of the frame. Now, who wouldn't want to wake up to this every day? That rice paper is gorgeous. Connie did a beautiful job with the picture and the tulips, just gorgeous. For our fourth and final project of the day, we will be using our third and final CNC DIY kit. This DIY kit is not currently available on our website. However, it may be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. This DIY kit is called Book Valet and is a stylish holder for your book, your coffee cup, your glasses, and even your cell phone. I will be attempting another tutorial from Connie at the Painted Photographer. This is the old world look, and she also taught this on her Whiskey Wednesday lives. Now, with that being said, I highly encourage you, if you have not seen Connie teach this technique, to go watch her Whiskey Wednesday live, because I do not do this justice. It turns out beautiful, but she does a much better job teaching this technique. I'm starting off using weathered wood, and I'm going to apply this with a paintbrush to start, and then I'm going to take the IOD paint blade, which is a silicone blade. It has some give to it, so it does bend a little bit, and I'm going to move this paint around on the surface. what I'm trying to do is create some texture while it dries, and to create an old world fresco type of painting look. One of the tips Connie gave was to make sure that your base paint is completely dry. So after I've applied the weathered wood, I dried it very well, and then I'm going to come in with the faded burlap and apply it in the same manner with the paint blade. I'm going to work the paint around until it dries, and if I need to remove some of the paint, I'll spritz it with some water, because the water will help release the paint so you can lift it up with your paint blade and move it around, and then just put it back down in another spot. And you keep going in this fashion until you have the look that you are going for. The third color I'm going to use is the tarnished pearl, and this tarnished pearl was in the Maker's Box. And I will apply it in the same order and fashion as I had the previous two colors. Now here I think that I applied too much of the tarnished pearl, and it just put too much of a coverage on it. So I'm going to add a little bit of the weathered wood in to try to bring back a little more of the darkness into this fresco old world look. And again, I'll use a little bit of water to be able to move this paint around to get it to look the way that I want it to. And the final color I'm going to add is cake batter. I want a little bit of yellow in here. This is very gray and brown, so I'm going to bring just a touch of the cake batter in the yellow to this fresco look, old world style. And I will just keep playing with it and moving it around until I get it just the way I want it. Now in Sonnet's Maker's Box each month, there are 2 rice papers from Connie and 2 decoupage tissue papers from Roycycled Treasures. I was going to use both of the papers from Roycycled in this video, but I just could not finish the 5th project, so that will come at a later time. But this this decoupage paper with all of these gorgeous teacups, I had to use this one. And I love the one with the black and the brown and the gold. To add a little more old world style to this fresco, I'm going to use the IOD crackle stamp with the IOD stone gray ink. And I'm just going to apply some crackle randomly around all of the surface. I want to frame in that teacup, so I cut a circle on my laser machine, and now I am just going to trim up the decoupage tissue paper to match the circle of this frame. I will use the liquid patina to decoupage the teacup and the tissue paper down to the surface. This is the front of the book valet. Once I have the tissue paper decoupage down, I'm going to glue down the frame using Titebond Quick and Thick. I like to feather out the glue to the edges of my pieces of wood so that it doesn't ooze out the edges and it gets a nice solid adhesion. Now we can put the entire book valet together, and I will use the Titebond Quick and Thick with the same feathering of the glue to the edges on all of the pieces. When I decoupaged the tissue paper down, I had moved it off center just slightly because I wanted to add a bit of a transfer. This is one of the flowers out of the IOD Transfer from the Spring 2025 release, Catherina. To apply a transfer, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your surface is completely 100% dry. Then you'll peel off the backer, lay your transfer sheet down, and then use the transfer stick that comes with your transfer sheets from IOD and rub the transfer onto your surface. I used all DIY paints on this project, so we need to seal it, and I'm going to use the DIY clear wax to seal it, and then I'm going to come back over top of that with the Howard's Chalk-Tique wax in dark. You may have noticed that there were two cutouts, a circle and a rectangle. And then we also have to attach the front to the back, and we're going to create a hinge to do that. But we're going to cut this out of faux leather. I'll be using the Eileen's tacky glue to adhere the circle and the rectangle into those cutouts. And I will also use what is called a Chicago screw to adhere the hinge to the front of the book valet. And then I used Eileen's tacky glue, but I suggest you use the E6000 to adhere the hinge to the back of the valet. This is a very complex DIY kit, and that is why it's not on the website as of yet. But please, tell me what you think of this. And here's the final reveal of all 4 projects we completed today. I would love to hear your thoughts on these projects. Sonnet's Maker's Box is so inspiring, and I hope that I have inspired you today with these projects. For these DIY kits and many, many more, check out our website at www.cncdiyfactory.com. And remember to practice random acts of crafting. Bye for now.